Hey you guys, so if you haven't yet, I did a lesson on how to do partial products. So basically that means finding the answer to a multiplication problem, and if you're dealing with bigger numbers, we learned how to break them apart and then use addition to find our answer. It's a great great method to use to help you. Basically, in this next lesson, we're in chapter 2 still of McGraw-Hill. Now they're saying use the distributive property to represent partial products. So it's like we're taking the boxes away and using parentheses. So let me get an example and show you what I mean. So let's say we have 6 times 13. Let's do it the partial product way and then show you how we're gonna kind of blend that in and start using parentheses, which now is called distributive property, okay? So just like we did before, take out the 6, and then if I break up this 13, I'm gonna pull out a 10 and a 3. So essentially now what we did with our boxes is that I would go 6 times 10 plus 6 times 3, but now we're gonna write it a little bit differently. So now I'm gonna go ahead and write 6 times parentheses 10 plus 3. So now what that means is that I need to multiply 6 times my 10 and 6 times my 3. So I'm going to rewrite that again. I'm going to now, because the 6 is being distributed, so it's going to be 6 in parentheses times 10 plus in parentheses 6 times 3. Because I'm solving both of these separately. 6 times 10 is 60 plus 6 times 3, which is 18. So this comes out to 78. So now let me go back and show you what we did using the partial product lesson, because that was definitely a little bit easier. So what I did is we took 6 and we broke out the 13 into a 10 plus the 3, right? And then we just, and then we multiplied it. So 6 times 10 is 60 and 6 times 3 is 18. And if we added those together, it's the same thing. We got 78. So let me show you what they're doing here, and what they want you to do is just use distributive property to solve multiplication. So it's the same thing. We break apart the bigger number, but now instead of doing the boxes, you're going to use parentheses to show the steps you're doing. So it's like we showed the steps that we did up here just using parentheses. We did 6 times 10, and we just put it in parentheses because that was its own step. Plus, we did 6 times 3, which was 18. So we just rewrote it in parentheses. So it's like a fancier way to do this partial product. And now there's this new math term called distributive property. Because if you think about it, we distributed this 6. We distributed it to the 10 and to the 3 because both of them were multiplied by that 6 so that we could break apart and add in order to find our answer. Let's go ahead and do some more examples. We're going to do 3 times 52. Okay, so take your 3 and we're going to multiply it times, we always start out like this. What are you breaking apart from the 52? Pull out the 50 plus the 2, okay? So that means I'm going to multiply 3 times a 50 and 3 times a 2 and then add that together to find our answer. So rewrite your steps. First step is 3 times 50 plus your next step was the 3 times the 2. And we're just putting the steps in separate parentheses to show I'm doing this, then I'm doing that. 3 times 50 is 150. Plus 3 times 2 is 6, and if I add that together, I get 156. So again, it's just like the partial products using the box, but instead of drawing the box, you're going to go ahead and first write it out as the steps and use it with parentheses, breaking apart what steps you were doing to solve, okay? You're still breaking down 52 and doing one step at a time, and then adding the numbers together to find your answer. Let's go ahead and do one more. We're going to do 26 times 6. Okay, so take the 6, we're multiplying because we're finding product, answer to a multiplication problem, and then break out in parentheses the bigger number. Take apart the 26, take out the 20 plus the 6. Why do we do a plus sign? Because 20 plus 6 gives me my 26. So that's why you have to have the addition sign, and again, you're just breaking it apart. Because now I'm gonna do 6 times 20 is my first step, and add that to what 6 times 6 is as my second step. So it's like I'm doing more work as far as finding partial products or the answer. I'm showing all the steps it takes. Now let's multiply. If you don't know what 6 times 20 is, you can just do 6 times 2, which is 12, and then add the 0, so it comes out to 120, plus 6 times 6, which is 36. And if we add that together, we get 156. Okay, you guys, so those were just a few examples on how to find the distributive property of a multiplication problem, which is related to partial products. So if this is still hard, make sure you have partial products down, and then you're basically replacing your boxes with parentheses and writing down the separate steps that you were multiplying the numbers together. All right, you guys, I hope that helps you, and be sure to check out the other videos for help.